Next step. You know what a brand is, but you have to develop it in a way that it goes viral. Okay, so here's another book by Jonah Berger. Great book. I encourage everyone to pick up these books. And it's got 6 steps that you need to follow if you want to develop a brand to go viral. Okay? And we're going to go through lots of fun examples about how these 6 steps work. Number 1, your brand has to be cool. You have to be cool, your office has to be cool, your website has to be cool. Coolness spreads. Triggers, connecting 2 or more ideas. Emotion, using lifestyle enhancer or awe. Public. We'll get to some examples as to how things go from private to public. The private act of going to a dentist has to be made public. Practical benefits. Practical benefits is what most people think. Oh, this is what I'm going to really pitch to my patients, all these benefits. But if you don't have all 6, and the last step is the story, if you don't have all 6, your brand is not going to spread as quickly as it could. And you have to do it in a very strategic manner. Okay? Social currency, the coolness factor. Who has heard of please don't tell? Adam. No? Okay, you see in the bottom right corner, Criff Dogs. There's 2 guys in New York, Brian and Chris. I know it sounds like, Family Guy, but it's not. I think it was Brian who had a hot dog in his mouth, and he said something like, we should have a place and call it Criff Dogs. And he was trying to say Chris, but it came out Criff. So they opened up this little hot dog place, and they had a liquor license, but they also had, they took over the space next to them. It was a bubble tea shop, and they wanted to open up a bar. The problem is that there were so many bars in the vicinity that they had to compete against. So what did they do to be cool, to spread the word about their bar? They found an antique phone booth, and they put it into the wall in between their 2 establishments. You go into the phone booth, you pick up the phone, you dial 1, a back door opens, and you walk in, and this is what's waiting for you. It is very cool. They have done no advertising, and they have rave reviews. So check them out. Please don't tell. The coolness factor, right? The antique phone booth. How many have heard of Barclay Prime in New Jersey? No? It's a really high-end steak place. They wanted to get on the map. Again, they were competing in a hyper-competitive industry, so they came out with a $100 Philly cheesesteak sandwich. You know this one? Caramelized onions, American Wagyu, like white truffles, foie gras. You get a bottle of champagne with it.
Are you from Japan or something?
Yeah, it's American Wagyu, right? It's not Korean. Yeah. Well, how did you hear about it? They don't advertise.
The newspapers.
Newspaper? Okay, then it's public, right? And because now, who would go and pay $100 for a Philly cheesesteak?
People with money.
People with money, or maybe you just want to check it out and see what else they have. But it's the coolness factor. They actually have something. Imagine a $100 burrito. I'm a burrito guy. I like burritos. But if there was such thing, triggers. Every time a man has to get a haircut, a shoe shine, a massage, whatever, they're thinking John Allen's, right? They're associating things with their own brand. Triggers. You wake up in the morning and you want a healthy breakfast. So you're going to eat, you're going to reach for Cheerios. They've got the heart, they've got lowering cholesterol. They did this on purpose, people. Triggers, Kit Kat. You know that Kit Kat rebranded itself. Used to be Give Me a Break and all that stuff. Now they said, we want people to think about having a Kit Kat when they go for a coffee. So they've connected coffee and Kit Kat. And they've done very well with this rebranding. Emotion. Okay? How many of you have been to the Westin Hotel? Okay, what does it smell like in the foyer?
White tea.
White tea, okay? Well done. A lot of people don't know that smell. You can actually buy that smell. Oh, you guys saw it. Cheers. Yeah, so this smell, imagine you walk in and you're having the worst day in your life. You just need to... And everything just... it's fantastic. It's a fantastic smell. It reminds you of so many things. Light, tasty. How many of you are subscribers to Groupon? They're using an emotion to get you to buy. What emotion is it?
Cheapness.
I don't know if cheapness is an emotion. Joe, what kind of emotion?
Impulsiveness.
Impulsiveness. Fear. Fear of missing out on a deal. And lifestyle enhancer. We're going to enhance your lifestyle, and you better buy quick, right? Emotion. BMW. It's a man's of the car. All right. Dos Equis. If you drink this beer, you're going to be cool, like this guy. You're going to have chicks. All right. How many of you have seen the new commercial with Jean-Claude Van Damme? Okay. Well, don't ruin it.
I've had my ups and downs. my fair share of bumpy roads and heavy winds. That's what made me what I am today. Now I stand here before you. What you see is a body crafted to perfection. A pair of legs engineered to defy the laws of physics. And a mindset to master the most epic of space.
How many have heard of insanity? You guys must have heard of this. I do this like every day. Obviously, it's not working, but I do it a lot. Now, what they've gone ahead and done is taken a very private act, which is you working out with nothing in your basement, and made it very public, because once you complete your 60 days, you can submit your results and get a t-shirt. So everyone's walking around with these t-shirts saying, hey, I did this thing. I worked out in my basement to this routine. And that's how they spread. It's very smart what they did. How many of you guys have heard of Movember, right? The private act of growing facial hair now connotates, raising money for men's health and cancer and things like that. The Livestrong band, same idea, right? Private act. Walking around with one of these means something now. Or walking out of the Louis Vuitton with a bag. Think about all the places you walk out of with a bag with their logo on it. You're now displaying that I've done a very private thing, shopping, and I'm publicly displaying what I've done. Practical benefits, okay? Did you know a few years ago that the hotels got into a big fight with each other over who had the best bedding? Yeah, I mean 600 thread, Egyptian cotton, plush pillows. Why? Why? Because now you think that when you sleep on this bed, when you wake up, you're going to be refreshed. It's going to be the best thing ever, right? Practical benefits. Back to insanity. There I am. Yes. Not quite. What are the practical benefits of doing insanity? There's no equipment, it's less than 60 minutes, and you look like this guy. Clearly, it works. Practical benefits. How many of you guys have seen that commercial, the McDonald's commercial, where this guy's going out into all these foreign countries and trying to talk to people, but nobody speaks English? Have you seen that one? Well, and then he's just like, I'm trying to look for, and they're like, no English, no English. And then he says, McDonald's? And he said, oh, McDonald's, yeah, it's right over there. The practical benefit is, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's so convenient. How many of you guys have heard of Jared? This guy has made $15 million over 15 years as a spokesperson, and Subway has tripled their revenues because he decided, when he was obese, to walk into a Subway and start having turkey sandwiches, 6-inch, hold the mayo, and a bag of, I think, baked chips. He lost something like 245 pounds. But it's a story. I mean, you see where I'm going with this. You need all elements to spread that brand. You need that story. How many of you guys have seen this? Dove Evolution. The women should have. The men will probably be like, what? So Dove, which sells the types of products that make you look and feel beautiful, decided they're going to make this story, and this story spread. All these videos I'm showing you have like tens, if not hundreds of millions of views, right? And the idea is this is how you spread brand, through stories. How many of you have heard of this guy? In 2006, the story goes that someone observed Japanese rice cookers had magnetic plugs attached to them, all right? And so Steve Jobs thought, well, that's pretty brutal if someone knocks over a cord and this computer would smash to the floor. So that's why they're all magnetic plugs, right? A genius idea. And he's got lots of ideas as to why he did what he did. And there's lots of stories that help connect us humans together and help spread the brand. How do you spread your brand? Remember, we're niching a brand to survive and thrive. We're developing a brand strategy using 6 steps, right? Do you remember the steps? Social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical benefits, and stories. And now you've got to spread it. You've got to put your brand, your stories, in the hands of the right people. And there's 3 types of people you need to be putting them in the hands of. Because those people, those 3 types of people will help spread it fast. And this is where this idea comes from. How many of you have heard of Malcolm Gladwell? Nobody. Okay. Oh, yes. Have you read any of his work? No. Okay, but you've heard of him. Okay, Malcolm Gladwell, really smart guy from Toronto, wrote some books. My son is born in January because of one of the books he wrote. He basically, he did a study where he showed how all the NHL players tend to be born January, February, or March. And he did all that research. Why? Why were they all born in those 3 months?
They're the oldest. Longer time of practice.
Yes, they're put in the same grade, same class as those born in September, October, November, December. So they have a competitive advantage. And I wanted my son to have that too. So he's born in January. You got to plan backwards. So he wrote another book, and this is my family. That's my wife on the bottom left. Don't think otherwise. Hold on. Okay, so who spreads brands, right? Connectors. These are people who are very well connected with other people. In my family, that's this guy. That's my father-in-law. I'm Wakbar. He's Persian. My wife's Persian. And he knows everybody. And it's not 6 degrees of separation from M. Wakbar. It's like 3. He just knows everybody. Second type of person you need to spread your brand to are mavens. These are people who are always telling you about the latest, greatest deal. They don't work for those companies, but they just, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. That's my mom. All right? She's always coming to me and saying, Michael, you have to go to Costco and buy this thing. And I'm like, Mom, it's always the same with you. You always want me to go and get a deal. Right? But these people spread messages. That's the key. Then you've got salespeople. These are people who will convince people who haven't been convinced that they need to buy into the product, idea, or service. In my family, that's me, so I'm told. Final person you should always have to spread your brand are the handsome people who I think this little guy is. That's my little Michael. All right, summary. Niche it, brand it, spread it. And this is my new article. It's called Our Niche Practices the Future. You can read it on what website? There you go. Now, how the heck does any of this apply to dentistry? I'll give you an example. After I gave this presentation in Palm Springs a couple of weeks ago, one of the dentists in the room said, he was a perio, and he said, Michael, I want to buy into this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm only going to be practicing 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, from 3 till 10 p.m. That's when I'm seeing patients. The rest of the time, during the day, I'm going to go out to all the different offices and mingle and network and build up my referral base from other practicing dentists. And I'm going to become known as the perio who accommodates people who don't want to take time off of work. Okay, I'm going to niche to those people, professionals or whatever, who want to come after work to see me. And I said, that's a great strategy. There was another dentist who came to me and he said, what I'm doing is anesthesia for children. I want to be the specialist in that field and be well known for that. And I said, great. Guess what? Do these guys charge premiums? Yes. Are they well known for doing one thing right? Yes. And will their message be spread? Absolutely. Thank you. If you guys want, I don't know why we're doing on time, Adam. Questions? If you don't have any questions, you can come up to me or Louisa or Adam and ask any questions you want. And I just want to say thanks, TD, for putting this great show on. I'll just give Adam a round of applause.
I'm standing up only because I'm going to do a draw just before, because I know for clients, if you want to come up, ask us questions, whether they're both legal or for banking. Has everyone had a chance to fill out the ballots? Cool. So I brought the gift card with me, so I'd rather draw it now and then